Don Staley and the rest of the angry Yas Queen feminists saying, don't do that for that white girl until you make this 6'5" black woman more popular than the white girl. That when you look around and ask yourself, why is the WNBA marketing the playoffs leading with Asia Wilson and not Kelsey Mitchell, not Caitlin Clark? Why? Why are they? No, you're white. You have to stand in line. We're committed to Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson's not going to sell a shoe. Period. End of story. Idiots. They're not about business. They're not about growing the WNBA. They're about diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is insanity what they're doing to Caitlin Clark. It's bad business. It's short-sighted. When this woman exits the playoffs, the WNBA playoffs are over.
I look at it from that standpoint and I say mad respect. Are there other players in the WNBA that are better? Yes.
About what happened to Caitlin Clark, they'll be back in playoff action tomorrow against the Connecticut Sun in an elimination game. And so I just assume that all the social justice, racial justice warrior people would be up in arms and be like, hey, we got to call balls and strikes here.
When Michael Jordan retired and everyone believed that basketball was over, the WNBA had its MJ moment with Caitlin Clark. However, the problem is that she is only a rookie, so why is the league collapsing without her? Let's talk about Clark's incredible debut in the WNBA. She broke records one after another, becoming the first rookie to score 25 points, grab 5 rebounds, and dish out 5 assists in her first playoff game. What's even more crazy is that the Indiana Fever went from being unknown to being the talk of the town, packing arenas with 17,000 fans each game and generating TV ratings so high that some regular season games dray audiences of 1.8 million. Caitlin Clark should have been on a team before the 12 individuals chosen ahead of her because of basketball, but this is where things go weird. What happens when your hero stays around? This is where Clark made the WNBA into must-watch TV.
Man, this certainly looks racist. And so I had the team. I was like, hey, tell me what ESPN says about this.
How all of a sudden that's in the mind's eye of everybody else. You clearly have this person, Caitlin Clark, to thank for it.
The woman single-handedly carrying the WNBA to relevancy.
The WNBA without Caitlin Clark is a roller coaster that only goes down, so that insane turn happened, and it's not beautiful. But here's the real kicker. How far did they fall? Let's talk about the numbers, because they're crazy. When Clark's team was eliminated, viewership plummeted to just 161,000. That's not a typo. People, we're talking about a drop of over 90%. Remember those games with Caitlin? They were drawing an incredible 1.8 million viewers, which is equivalent to filling 20 NBA arenas. It gets worse during the playoffs, which ought to be the most thrilling, but you're probably thinking, no way, that can't be right. Time of the season has become a ghost town with empty seats everywhere and no excitement or buzz. It's as if someone has silenced the entire league. Here's the worst part. Not a single playoff game could draw 500,000 viewers, which is less than a third of what they were receiving when Clark was playing. It seems like the league suddenly switched from prime time to late-night infomercials. You may be wondering how this is possible and how one player can have such a significant impact. Well, it's about what Caitlin Clark stands for, not just about her. She is new, exciting, and attracts a whole new audience to the game. Consider this. If LeBron James were to suddenly leave the NBA, there would still be fantastic players, but would casual fans pay as much attention? That's the issue the WNBA is currently facing, but this is where things start to get really scary for the league. It's not just about TV ratings. Those empty seats mean less ticket sales, less merchandise flying off the shelves, fewer sponsorship deals. It's a domino effect that could hit the WNBA where it hurts the pocketbook.
And so I foolishly assumed, play the video of Carrington nailing Caitlin Clark.
In regards to Clark, starting with WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops herself.
Where all the people that own Stephen A? oh, she don't do this, she not gonna do that. Let her cook. So she couldn't get that double-digit assist record 3 consecutive games with at least 20 points.
Caitlin Clark got you watching the league because it wasn't just her. You wanted to see who eventually she was going to end up going against. She has you transfixed on the entire league. That's why I brought up Michael Jordan and Larry Bird.
The WNBA was riding high one day, thinking they would finally crack the code, and the next they were frantically trying to figure out how to keep the lights on. It's as if they put all their eggs in one basket, and that basket just got knocked over. Don't get me wrong. Although Caitlin Clark is incredible, the WNBA is learning this lesson the hard way. You may be thinking, okay, so the ratings dropped, big deal. They'll bounce back right well. But if these numbers don't improve quickly, we could be looking at some serious long-term damage to the league. Those dropping numbers aren't just hurting TV ratings, they're also hurting the WNBA's finances, and it's much worse than you might think. Let's break this down. The WNBA was riding high on Caitlin Clark's star power, but now they're facing a financial nightmare. A $10 million hit isn't just a bad day at work, it's a full-blown crisis. How bad are we talking about? A potential $10 million loss per season. That's enough to make any league sweat. Consider the implications for the players, the teams, and the future of women's basketball player compensation. It may suffer. The real kicker is that the WNBA blew their marketing budget. They had this superstar in Caitlin Clark, but they did virtually nothing. Where were the commercials? Team budgets were cut, and they forgot to invest in new arenas or league expansion. The social media blitz and billboards are acting as though they had a golden ticket and forgot to cash it in. What's even more absurd is that some analysts are attacking the WNBA, claiming that without Clark, the league is nothing more than a polished turd. Ouch. That's harsh, but it illustrates how troubled the WNBA is. After all, if one rookie can make or break your entire league, you have more serious issues than low ratings. It appears fantastic to build a house on sand until the tide comes in.
When I think about Caitlin Clark, the operative word that comes to my mind is gratitude. There's an incredible level of gratitude that should be accorded to this young lady with what she did for the sport.
As close as we'll probably ever get to Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan all over again.
That's her last name. She bumped into her fed up. Let her cook.
I said marketing matters in everything. Promotion matters in everything. And you're not going to get around that. That is what I said.
What does this mean for the WNBA's future? The league is at a crossroads and cannot simply wait for the next Caitlin Clark to come along and save them. They need a plan, and they need it quickly. We're talking about a complete makeover, improved player development, new marketing tactics, and possibly even a change in the way the game is played, because the WNBA is currently learning a difficult lesson. Even if the basket is as great as Caitlin Clark, you can't lay all your eggs in one basket. The league must figure out how to produce stars rather than relying solely on luck. They require plots. Let's talk about the fan experience. Rivalries, drama, and other things keep fans coming back even when the top players aren't performing. While empty arenas are unsightly, they also represent a lost chance. The WNBA should turn every game into an experience that isn't possible to watch on television alone. Whatever it takes to attract people to sit and eat, including food, music, and entertainment.
Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's why you should have had Caitlin Clark.
I assume, are you kidding? Did her hand catch a cramp? Look at what her fingers and hands do.
There is no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out of that soliloquy that you dropped about the Indiana Fever. Stop it.
We talk about league attendance. The Indiana Fever, all right, with Caitlin Clark, led the league in attendance both home and on the road.
The WNBA has been around for more than 25 years, and let's face it, they still have some of the best basketball players in the world. They just need to figure out how to showcase their talent. So, what's next for the WNBA? That's the million-dollar question, or should I say the $1 million question. They're in a difficult situation, no question, but sometimes it takes a crisis to bring about meaningful change. As they say, when you hit your lowest point, there's nowhere to go but up. However, what if the WNBA isn't just planning a comeback? What if they're creating a completely new playbook that will make you forget about those declining ratings? Perhaps this is the wake-up call the league needs to reinvent itself and return stronger than ever. You will want to watch this, I promise. The WNBA has a fantastic opportunity here, and it goes beyond simply identifying the best Caitlin Clark to start. The WNBA must scout the courts diligently in order to find those hidden gems who are just waiting to shine. We're talking about players with skills, of course, but also personality. Imagine turning on a game and not knowing who is going to blow your mind that night. That's the kind of excitement that keeps fans coming back for more.
She broke the WNBA single-season rookie mark for assists. Stephen A.
I look at it from that standpoint and I say mad respect. Are there other players in the WNBA that are better? Yes.
About what happened to Caitlin Clark, they'll be back in playoff action tomorrow against the Connecticut Sun in an elimination game.
I think we see that. We see the capability on the basketball court. She can shoot, she can handle, she certainly can pass, okay?
But if I'm Caitlin Clark, I'd have told Skylar Diggins, get your coat.
The kind of athletes who can ignite social media and spark conversation, but it's not just about spotting talent. It's about nurturing it. The league must fund training initiatives that elevate talented players beyond the court. We're talking media training, personal branding, and everything because, in the modern world, being a star involves more than just your jump shot. Let's talk about storylines now. In order to turn casual viewers into die-hard fans, the WNBA needs to establish rivalries that excite people. For example, Lakers versus Celtics, but with a WNBA twist. Picture two teams that simply cannot abide one another competing against one another season after season. A significant improvement is required for the in-game experience. From the time you enter the arena until the last buzzer, we're talking entertainment, including dance teams and music. People don't even want to leave their seats during halftime since interactive activities during timeouts are so entertaining. But this is where the truly intriguing revenue sources come in. The WNBA needs to think creatively. Instead of depending solely on ticket sales and TV deals, they should consider fantasy leagues that give fans a sense of being a part of the action or special merchandise drops that make WNBA apparel into must-have fashion pieces.
And so I just assume that all the social justice, racial justice warrior people would be up in arms and be like, hey, we got to call balls and strikes here. The woman who is allowing all these other spoiled, entitled brats to fly private to basketball games. Caitlin Clark has made this league relevant, and this deranged bigot, the woman who gives them a glimmer of hope that the WNBA won't lose $50 million this year like they have every other year in their existence.
Another gold is partnerships, and my opinion, there are countless opportunities for NBA players to appear in video games not just as characters, but also as plot points or to collaborate with well-known companies on advertising campaigns that highlight their personalities off the court. Let's now discuss digital. The WNBA should be in charge of social media. We're talking about player takeovers, live Q&A, and behind-the-scenes content, as well as anything that allows fans to connect with their favorite players. Additionally, short-form content that goes viral can be just as valuable as a full-game broadcast. But now for the real deal. Share community involvement. The WNBA must be more than just a sports league. It must be a movement that engages players in local charities, hosts youth clinics, and is a force for good. When fans believe that supporting the WNBA is supporting their community, that is when true loyalty is formed, and you know what? Fans have a part to play as well. If you love women's basketball, it's not just about attending games. It's also about showing up, making noise, and spreading the word. Purchase tickets now to demonstrate it. Let's wrap this up. The WNBA has been on an incredible journey with Caitlin Clark, but they are currently facing some significant obstacles. The future of the league is about all of us, not just one player or even the league itself. It is about establishing a world where women's sports receive the respect and attention they deserve, and that begins with you all. Rock the merchandise and get your friends excited about the game. It's not just about finding the next superstar, it's also about creating a league that can support itself. Imagine if every game was as thrilling as a Clark game. That's the dream, right? The WNBA needs to improve its player development and fan experience marketing because they can't just wait for the next big thing to happen. Here's something to think about. What kind of WNBA do we want to see in 5 years? What happens next is up to all of us. That's not just talk, it's a call to action. So whether you're a diehard fan or just interested in women's basketball, now is the time to show up and make some noise.